among you. For those people who see the things happening with COVID, oh, that's unconstitutional, it's not allowed to happen. Yes, it is, because y'all haven't paid attention. Look at the UN Charter. In an act of war, if we're under a declaration of war, which we are, that has not been lifted, under the U.S. Charter, if an event approaches the United States in a state of emergency, the UN Charter overrides the Constitution. Do y'all not understand that? I don't think a lot of people understand what I'm saying here.
As a Canadian, I understand what you're saying, given what we have done in our relationship with the UN and our prime ministers over past periods, and how they have sold our country out to the UN and its evilness, for a lack of a better adjective.
Nothing overrides the
I actually didn't know that about that act and how it was actually reinstated in 2001. A lot of things were thrown under the covers, and that's what I mean by what was going on. When Gov, you were telling your story about being in the elementary school and the TV's being turned on, and the TV's just telling you what was going on, and whatever the TV said is what happened.
That's not a new law. You have to stay in the Constitution with it.
From 1933.
If you decide to leave,
that's the first time I heard that. So,
and you think something overrides, that's international. It's international.
I want to say it like this.
That's
international. I know a lot of people are going to think I'm arrogant by saying this. I'm doing another shameless plug. I'm not. I'm really just trying to be honest. Read the damn thread. If you don't read the thread, watch everything, click on every link, look at all the context and research for yourself. You have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. So that's why I urge everybody. Me and Lizzie did this for a reason. If you don't take the time to invest in it, you're not going to understand what the hell we are talking about.
That's international.
But if you do, and I will say, I'll admit, it will take roughly 13 hours to go through this thread thoroughly. If you do, and you don't know everything that's in there, you will come out a better person. That's the whole point of why we do this.
It's international.
And I do really want to, thank you for all the time that you put into, making a thread like that. It probably, just as a guess, it probably took you hundreds of hours, knowing that it takes me 3 hours to put together a 2-minute video to post onto Twitter. So it probably took you hundreds of hours to put that together. So I do want to say thank you, and I do want to jump to Elizabeth, Madame Punisher, to see if she has anything that she wants to add.
I asked a question about the Knights of Malta. They're called the Sovereign Military something of Malta now. Aren't they a branch of Freemasons?
That's what they found.
Yes, they are.
So,
I do learn.
So just to jump in on that, I know that the Freemasons were known as the Knights Templar before they were known really as the Freemasons. I could be wrong about that, but I believe they, came from the Knights Templar.
I'm sorry.
The Knights Templar started out as no cause, but they were infiltrated by the Illuminati under the Bavarian leadership of Adam Weishaupt.
And there you go, folks.
But that's American Dad.
I do have a question.
Adam Weishaupt, for those that don't know, came up with the 25 goals of the Illuminati, which we're seeing played out now, and it kind of aligns with, those SDGs and all the stuff coming out of the WEF and WHO and the UN and all those other organizations.
So I guess my question is where we, I understand 9/11 was the precursor. Lots of events happened prior to, but we're now in a 5th gen war, and I believe you have been at war since 9/11. Everybody has, knowingly or unknowingly. So my question is to maybe some of the people that spend a lot of time on this: where do you think the next event is?
I do too. That's what I mean. But it's hard to think about Jesus and not in some way tangential.
Where are we going to? Where are we going to? So that we can now put our focus toward. No, that's fair.
Well, I think he's talking about something a little bit bigger.
Yeah, like something that...
And I hate to say this, I really don't want to say this, because I'm probably going to get raided by feds again, for the third time. Fucking assholes. But I will almost guarantee you, William Cooper prediction style, June 2024, some shit's going to go down.
So just to jump onto that, Punisher, in case you're not aware, you're probably not, but you know, I'm an options trader. I spent a lot of time.
Okay, I can actually get with that, because if you were reading conservative politics in particular, like sometimes it does feel like, okay, our civilization is falling apart. Actually, if you read the left stuff, they also think the sky is falling literally because of climate change. So I mean, I can understand that, but I want to see other ethnicities. Like, do husbands and friends from other ethnicities?
And also red and green go back and forth. So it's candles of red and green go back and forth. So it's
Does everybody else think the sky's falling if there's a climate change with the weather?
Where it says that there is going to be another demand-killing event, and we can speculate all day long as to what that's going to be, but we'll never figure it out because, like I said, these people are psychopaths, and we can never really grasp what's going on in their head. And I wouldn't really want to, because I wouldn't want to be associated with psychopathic thinking. But when it comes down to your timeline of June, somewhere between March and June, but I really think it's going to kick off sometime after Christmas. Vic says that there's something that's going to happen.
Well, they may try to push COVID again, but I think it's going to be a dud. COVID's not going to go anywhere. There's too many people waiting to it. People are not going to comply with it. So I actually have to agree with Tucker on this aspect. I really think it's going to be a full-on World War III with Russia. And I don't know what that looks like.
Go buy some oil for yourselves. This is another one of those twists in the story that would have grabbed the attention of the disciples. It's midnight. There's no place open to
I have no idea.
Oil. They didn't have 24-hour grocery stores like we do today. For the 5 foolish virgins who had no oil, when the bridegroom came, it was too late for them to get oil. There's nothing they could do at this point.
But I think that's...
15:52 tells us when Jesus comes for his bride and the rapture happens and we're all caught up to meet the Lord,
sometime around, like I said, Q1, Q2. So would it not be possible to have, massive bank collapses? Like we've already started seeing it in the United States. Small and medium-sized banks are going bust, and they're being bought up by the bigger banks through, thanks to the Federal Reserve. But in Canada, there's only 5 major banks. It would be pretty easy to bring the financial institutions in Canada down. And the United States, the too big to fails have gotten even bigger, and it would be pretty easy to pull the plug on that and cause a massive financial, system correction. And then what would their play be then? Oh no, we need to introduce, we need to stabilize the currency with.
And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding. And the door was shut. Underline the phrase, those who were ready went in. Those who were ready went in. Those who are ready when Jesus comes will go in with him to the wedding,
because,
to the marriage of the Lamb in the Father's house. You don't know the hour, you don't know the day.
It takes out the banks so they can recapitalize with bail-in laws that have already been passed, taking out the institutional banks in Canada and United States, replacing them with, nationalizing them with, the Federal Reserve and the Bank of Canada, and then launching this digital ID program.
The Those who were ready went in
Yeah, I mean,
to the wedding.
it makes sense, Gus, because I'm looking at the same thing. You're looking on the options end, on the market end as well. I didn't know you traded options. You should definitely hit me up on the back channel. But I definitely think that, something like what the Punisher said, and something like what you said, around next summer, it's going to be an inflection point across the board. I think the Federal Reserve right now, I actually did a post on the Federal Reserve and Powell and how.
Are you going to buy the Federal Reserve from your thesis?
And the door will be shut.
Your theory?
Like the ark that Noah built. Once Noah and his family
They're losing $100 billion
shut the door of the ark. And those that were outside couldn't get in. It was too late. The door is open now, but it will be shut then. And many will not be ready when Jesus comes. Look at verse 11. Afterward.
Are you going to buy purgatory?
Also saying, Lord, open to us.
Not because it makes sense, because it's already happening. When you look at FedNow, when you look at the Canadian convoy, when you look at WeChat, when you look at what Elon Musk is preparing, thinking that us patriots are going to play along with it, which we aren't. When you really look at it, it's happening in real time. But this is a question, as far as CBDCs, I want to get Jim's perspective on it. Because he's in a different part of the world, and maybe they probably experienced something different. So, Jim, tell us what your thoughts on CBDC.
Well, what we're witnessing here in the UK, Punisher, is probably something very similar to what's happening all over the world, because this is truly a global issue. You have to remember who's all behind it, and they are the globalists. Now, CBDC, central bank digital currencies, are just another method of control.
Jesus said there will be many on that day.
But they have the Lord's name without being in vain or forsaken.
And Jesus will say, I don't know you. Listen to this warning from Jesus in Luke chapter 13. He says in Luke 13, strive to enter through the narrow gate.
Of providence.
He says strive. That means it requires effort, work. Strive to enter through the narrow gate. For many, I say to you, will seek to enter and will not be able. Like the foolish bridesmaids here, they're seeking to enter, they want to enter, they want to be there, but they're not able. He goes on and says, once the master of the house has risen up and shut the door, and you begin to stand outside and knock at the door, saying, Lord, open for us. And he will answer and say to you, I do not know
central bank digital currency.
That's just like the American borders with the intergalactics. Those gates was open to America as an invite.
News channel here. It's one of the better mainstream news channels. They fly close to
Are you going to buy the Federal Reserve from your
theory?
theory?
Called Ofcom, which regulates what the censors what news channels say here. But they do try their best, and I'm friends with a number of people who are.
And you don't seek the Federation? Do you seek the Federation from a theory?
And a number of them. Presenters on it, and a number of them. Follow me on Twitter, but the thing is, 15-minute cities, where if you leave your district, you will be fined, and they are putting cameras up all over London at the moment, and in Oxford, which is another town or city in England, and here in London, for example, the ULEZ cameras, which is the ultra low emission zone cameras, they are going up everywhere. They are ultra low emission. So basically, if you use your car at certain hours or certain days, or sometimes if you just use your vehicle in and around those prohibited areas in London, you get charged. It's basically another tax on drivers, to be honest.
And what year did a federation exist when 50 worlds of the United States did? No, you have to go study it. That has nothing to do with me. Do that on your time. Don't come around me doing that. That's all you. That has nothing to do with me.
Be speculation, but can you confirm that there's also a group?
No, that has nothing to do with me. No. You can't take a group of people up to the White House. 300 people knowing it's January 6, 2023 from the year 2006 and a riot breaks out.
There was even people parking in front of them, you know, so they couldn't see what people were doing. But this is to roll out these US type cameras in 15-minute cities all across the UK, and a lot of people are saying we're not having it. So the resistance that has sprung up, the Brits are fighting back, and in particular against what they perceive to be very unjust laws, unfair laws that are being.
Alright, the United States existed for about 10,000 years. That's its Milky Way. There's 12 galaxies with one world with a landmark.
Proposed by the London mayor.
Home base and each.
His name is Sadiq Khan.
Then you count the 50 worlds of the United States and its galaxy. You gotta map this out.
Blade Runners is the name of the resistance movement that has formed. I think it's after the name of a science fiction film or the.
Well, if that's your theory, the Federation. You need to seek the Federation. These are fossils you're talking about.
It's happening.
Statutes of no limitation from the Constitution. Anything around that is international.
I'm watching that very closely for lots of reasons. But I think we're at the point of seeing globalist or anti-globalist resistance movements forming up, and it's something that I think is required. Obviously, we want things like that to be peaceful. You know my thoughts on that, Gavin, and I think we don't want violence in any way, shape, or form.
No, I'm not doing that.
But people, I think perhaps.
No, I don't have foreign. That's what people speak of. That is considered international and foreign.
$500 million into Moderna long before any of this happened.
When you try to use
an offshore company called
your own invented, made up imaginary laws against the Constitution.
And the corruption that goes to the heart of governments all around the world. So, yeah, I hope that's giving you a bit of a...
The government's dead.
PCs are just another method of control. They want to do away with cash. And of course, you get privacy with cash. You can spend cash anywhere. Nobody can track it. Well, they don't like that. They want to track your every movement because the New World Order that's rising with these supernatural globalist bodies don't want people to have their autonomy or their privacy or their freedom, and we must fight back against it. So I hope I've answered that to you and given you a bit of a flavour for the feelings of things happening.
It's American
currently in the UK.
There's
currently in the UK.
So Jim, you're
a storm system to move on through that will create clouds.
Saying that's part of the Agenda 20, and that's part of the Agenda 2030 initiative.
How about some 81s? 81 in Chantilly,
yes.
81 in Columbia, 81 in Washington, 459.
All under attack. Farmers in America.
Everything you need, every time
you listen. Come under attack. John Kerry.
Lido Pizza never cuts corners. Good evening, I'm Dick Uliano. Coming up, if you ride Metro's Red Line, there are some changes this weekend you're going to want to know about. The 33X2 and W45 confusing Metrobus could get new route names. I'm Luke Luker.
DC Water has finished work on a tunnel built to alleviate flooding issues on Rhode Island Avenue. I'm Valerie Bone.
Montgomery County's executives speaking out on the controversy surrounding a local principal. Nationals at the Brewers tonight. It's 5 o'clock.
If you're self-conscious, that's a luminous thinking. That's why we got COVID alerts for people who are experiencing high fever, high pulse, or a low pulse, and the extremes of climate change. And it does look like the sky's falling. And then the insurrection occurred on a dead government. And we're watching the graveyard area of the insurrection where they're raising the dead. But since 1996, they have specified from all the applicants of Richie Rich's McDonald's $1 million corporate fish. Speak about aliens and migration of illegal immigrants that have come to your country and started an intergalactical tax battle because they filed somewhere else. Did anyone ask the flying saucer if they came out of the laws or the common law? Or what did the corporate fish handle a flying saucer? Did they take the flying saucer's driver's license? Or depot their flying saucer vehicle? Don't you need a driver's license for that flying saucer? Just like I had to when I was growing up as a teenager? Why are the rules and regulations different for everybody else except for me? Why did I have to go get a driver's license for a flying saucer? Why did I get pulled over by an illegal alien and they take my driver's license and they steal my flying saucer to get me back and forth to work? And that's not international, what just happened? That is a different country. A flying saucer should be treated in such. If they come over here for their American citizenship, then that's their personal encounter. But they shouldn't be dropping the bomb on individuals just because they had a bad day. And I don't think anybody should defend them. I think they should call their home world, because that's a different country. That's not just a different galaxy. And this has been going on since 1996. And everybody's application says the same thing. Are you a legal residential alien? Then we can try, in theory, where did the Federation come? Because you guys seek the Federation after you seek God from seeing all these worlds are dead. And there's dying worlds. These are dying planets. These are dying galaxies. And these are dying stars of solar systems. And that's when they put the light out in time travel. And nothing else exists except for the damage that's already been done to one nation under God, with indivisibility for the liberty and the justice of which it stands. Is that supposed to be fair that everyone else reads their application and it says, are you a legal resident alien, and these other ones are not? Is that supposed to be fair that you're under attack from a secret invasion of any shape, way of life form? No matter if they grew up around a flying saucer or not.
As they call them.
You gotta look at the environment that people came from. the environment that they put their children in, the environment they let this happen in, that is solar energy. And everyone that is under attack has been attacked by a non-legal residential alien. That includes all of the museum activity when a bully plagiarized and stole the flying saucer UFO of an unidentified flying object, and y'all's timeline within less than 40 years. Now, this is strange because you need the Lord's name to finish the deal with the devil.
One thing that I do want to point out before...
Hit by a vehicle that was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Police tell WTOP the driver of the vehicle did stay there on the scene.
See, there's more museum activity.
A big tunnel project has wrapped up in D.C., which should help keep
closing the spaces off, but we will...
Flooding that killed almost a dozen dogs at a pet daycare in August. There's now some promising news. D.C. Water says work...
And I think it's important that people understand back to the 1400s, if not farther, how this all came out. So I just came up to say, I put in the nest a book called Thinking in Destiny by Harold Percival. It's from the 1940s. He is a Freemason who wrote this book and talks about everything that goes on. And even the...
As you may have heard in our coverage...
I'm sorry, those are fossils. A B-O-O-K. If you find one, that's a fossil.
Title, Thinking in Destiny. You can...
was under investigation when he was promoted. Now Montgomery County Executive Mark Elridge is sharing what he thinks about all this with WTOP.
See how, first of all, they understand the process of thought.
And they have an obligation to investigate this stuff, even if it was anonymous. And I guess the other part is it fits
looking at all of this. And if I watched...
This is not the first time.
The report also examined how the process allowed for someone under investigation.
Something with Alan Green, Robert Edward Grant, and
Isaac Moye gets 35 years in prison for
the awareness of the Freemason and that society and what they were doing. So it's very interesting how much information is starting to surface. Great space. Thank you all for everybody in here that works hard and puts information out and does all the research. God bless you.
God bless it.
Thanks very much, Andrea. And with that being said, I do want to get to some of the final thoughts and closing statements before I head on over to dinner. So we'll start with
God bless Independence Day.
The speakers and the...
Are you gonna find a federation after 1996 a revolution of Independence Day? It's recent.
Joe Conway in the WTOP Traffic Center. Mostly in good shape around the Capitol Beltway in Maryland, just dealing with some volume delays. It stretches as usual through Montgomery and Prince George's counties, but nothing to block your way as far as that goes. Same deal on 270, 95 in the Baltimore-Washington Parkway. Earlier wreck was eastbound 70 near 695.
God bless Independence Day 1996. The Revolution. God bless Independence Day in 1996. And may God have mercy on my soul, because I'm going to burn in hell for this.
Guest speakers, people in the audience, I want to thank everyone. Make sure you listen to this replay. It's recorded, so I think there was a lot of things that I'm going to even replay that I'm going to look back at. Even though I know this whole thing was kind of a facade that went on here, there was little details that are really important that I think that we covered here. So I'm definitely going to be looking at that recording. And for now, I think everyone, don't let the mainstream media divide and conquer. Don't let them turn us against each other. Stay as strong as possible. I think after the last 3 years, after what we all been through.
All right, God bless Independence Day 1996 recent at the Revolution.